What is a basic computer skill you were shocked some people don't have? Had a situation happen with an older coworker when I worked at Pizza Hut who knew I was in college for CS. She walked up to me with gusto and says, "I need a windproof Wi-Fi router because the wind keeps blowing it away." Then when I tried to explain to her that wind doesn't blow away Wi-Fi, I shit you not, this lady goes, "No wonder you can't get a job in computers." A couple hours later, she's outside on the phone cussing out the ISP because they told her the same thing I did. Turns it was orchestrated by her grandson telling her to ask for windproof routers. Like when your dad tells you to go into AutoZone to ask for blinker fluid. She sound like an awful person. If the kid is that good at pranks, she brought it on herself. She is his father's mother. Go kid. Reading. You don't know how many family members have asked me to come help them because something popped up. Then why is it popped up? Box says update will happen tonight. Me, there is an update coming, nothing to worry about. Them, oh wow, I'm so bad with this, I wish I understood it like you. It's in plain English, just read the screen, god damn it. Yes, this can be extremely annoying. I sometimes have to help friends do something simple on PC just because most of them apparently can't even read. I just don't get it. I once did a bit of tutoring for folk, and I remember one lady asked how she could open Word. So I told her to move the mouse pointer over the Word icon and double-click on it, to which she replied, "Oh no, I can't do that. I don't like those mice thingies." Teach her how to use the mouse with some mouse tutorial program first. I hazily remember reading someone talk about how the Windows 95 games were actually great tools for teaching how to use a mouse. Like Solitaire taught how to drag and drop and things like that. And Minesweeper taught left versus right click. Shape recognition. Does the end of the cable look like the hole in the machine? It's amazing how many people can't figure that out at work. I had to cut off some of the pins to make it fit. Cinderella's stepsisters actually had this happen once with a 4G dongle. We told them to plug in their SIM card into it. They had a full-size SIM and the dongle took full-size cards. Instead they found the micro SD card slot on the dongle and literally cut their SIM card down to fit into that slot. Then, my computer turns on, but my monitor doesn't show the picture. Me, is your monitor plugged in and connected to the back of your PC? Them, no, I needed to use that outlet so I unplugged it. Me, frown. I worked tech support for an ISP and we had a storefront where customers could bring devices in for config. Had a lady once bring a router in with no power supply. She was dumbfounded and almost irritated when I told her I couldn't work on it. She said, "Why does it need a power cord? It's wireless." Wanted to kill myself daily at that job. My buddy has a customer come in and complain the phone they sold them died. The battery was just depleted, and the man was irate when told that he had to plug his phone in and charge it every day. He tried to get a discount because he was told it was wireless, so he assumed it would just charge itself via magic cell signals or something, and then he complained that his old phone never needed charging. I assume his old phone was just a corded home phone or something. How to close a fucking browser. I had a colleague who complained about her computer being slow after lunch. Took a look, and it turns out she was using minimize instead of close after reading emails, had over 200 emails open. My coworker, a 36-year-old high school teacher, did something similar, except with actual apps/programs. She said her work computer had acting so slow for the past few months, so she asked me to take a look. Did a command plus tab on her laptop and after like 5 seconds just a shitload of applications popped up. I'm talking programs she'd opened up last academic year. Similarly, her Chrome had probably like 100 tabs open. She also had about 4 megabytes of free hard drive space. Turns out, she had saved all of the Zoom sessions from last year's pandemic year, about 150 gigabytes worth, even though they were uploaded on our education platform. That poor machine was struggling. In about 30 seconds, I changed her life by making her computer functional again. Reading. Seriously. Read the text in the dialogue and you'll know what to do in 99% of cases. 100% it's not like the olden days where your error messages were cryptic error 4072 quine. Then I understand why you would call me and say what the F does that mean? But if it says error, printer out of paper, don't call me. I remember googling error codes, and finding forum posts that went like this. I frequently get error code X and can't do Y, does anyone know how to fix it? Edit, fixed. No further explanation given. Not knowing what double click means. Click. 3 seconds later click. My mom is the opposite, double clicks every single thing. She can at least navigate a PC. The worst part, however, is she has her entire desktop full of icons. It gives my fiancé a panic attack looking at it. Not recognizing a scam email when it's really obvious. Sadly, a lot of companies don't seem to realize what scam emails look like, so their own emails seem a bit fishy if they don't have someone's personal info. I had this when my GP texted me to get my vaccine. Sent from a personal mobile number, no hi, first name last name, or other directed info, and a message to click a random link. I googled it and turns out loads of other people were thinking the same thing because it looked like a scam. The company I work for actually creates phishing emails, and if somebody clicks on the links then they have to go through the phishing training again. If you hover above the link, it shows you the URL, and if you Google it, it straight tells you that it's a phishing training website. I'm in my 40s, I teach at a private elementary school. A teacher in her late 20s shared a Google Doc with me, and she had centered the title by hitting spacebar a bunch of times. Another teacher, around my age, wanted to know why Google Docs would not translate her document into Spanish. It was a JPEG with text on it. No one seems to know any keyboard shortcuts. Oh god, that centered one. That's what I used to do when I was 11 and using Word 98. Not knowing how to enter a URL. I've tried to get people to enter a URL over the phone and they just put it in the Google search bar, usually after first going to google.com. I'm always surprised how many business owners go to their own website by typing it in Google then clicking the link. Bookmark that shit at least. I encounter this issue every time I ask someone on the phone to go to logmain123.com and they inevitably then reply with which one do I click? Type IT in the FING address bar. Unless they're intentionally trying to make the business website rank higher in the search engine lol. The one secret trick SEO specialists don't want you to know. Just navigating Windows Explorer, and the organization of files. The amount of people who just stick every single file on their desktop is crazy, and they're not arranged in any particular order. When they need to find a file they have to peer all around their desktop to find it. People who grew up with the search for anything paradigm never had to learn what folders are. Some URL. Microsoft really facilitates it though. The amount of clicks you have to do to save your Word document in a specific folder is insane. Microsoft really facilitates it though. The amount of clicks you have to do to save your Word document in a specific folder is insane. They are trying to goad you into using their cloud service, which is not good. My college roommate didn't know he could change his desktop background. He was blown away and went to show it to one of our other friends, who was also blown away because she didn't know you could change the background. I remember this exact same thing happening with a friend. In 1996. We all gathered around to marvel at her background being the block of trees with gold frames. Edit, these aren't my images, just a random collection I found when trying to find that tree one. Kudos to whoever collected them in one place. Holy shit. Remember the 3D Pipes screensaver? There was a feature where you could change the texture. I remember using the 8th wallpaper as the texture, the Lynx one, and I got my pipes to look like scales of a snake. Rat maze for the win. You'd be surprised how many folk don't know what to type into search engines to find what they're looking for. My girlfriend always thought I was super smart and could solve every computer problem through sheer force of my brain. Then I was helping her with a computer issue and after exhausting the basic troubleshooting steps I had, I googled her issue with some specific keywords and got some help articles to work off. She was blown away. "You just Google it?" And I'm like, yeah, there are no unique situations and someone smarter than me has solved this issue before. She came home from one of her classes the other day and proudly told me one of her students had a camera she had never used before and she used Google to look up how to put it in RAW mode. I was so proud and congratulated her on now being qualified to be a web developer. Until your issue is so unique that you can only find 3 help threads on random forums from 7 years ago with either no responses or "I fixed it" without the details on how.